Alright, you guys, welcome back to some more Grisaia. I think we're finally on talking terms with Yumiko. She's not stabbing us, so that's a positive. But other than that, our classmates are just absolutely wild. And I got the patch installed. You guys told me that I needed to have the patch, that I would be missing out on story. And I'm not gonna do that. I don't like doing the editing for the 18 plus content, but I don't want to miss out on the good stuff. So I went ahead and installed that for you guys. And we're going to continue on from here. When I push open the heavy glass doors, I find the lobby in utter silence. Exchanging my outdoor youth shoes for the slippers I use in my room, I reach for the board hanging above the shoe racks and flip the magnetic name tag reading Kazumi Yuji from out to in. A glance at the other name tags reveals that Sakaki, Sachi, and Amane are all in, but there's no one in the lobby. Probably shut up in their rooms doing homework. Hold on. There wasn't any homework assigned today, which means my hypothesis just now can't be accurate. Then what? When students shut themselves up in their room, homework and masturbation are the only things that come to mind. I feel like this is like a card somebody would have put in Cards Against Humanity. They would have thrown that in there. Homework and masturbation. Although I gave the matter a little thought, I don't plan on going around and confirming my new conjecture. Good. That would be awkward. It's just a guess, and no matter what sort of vile filth they're getting off to, that's their prerogative. I like how he assumes it's really vile. Like, it's not just vanilla, it's gotta be some super sadistic stuff. In this case, pretending not to notice would be the kinder thing. Ah, good guy Yuji. Having reached a conclusion, I reached out to the door of my room, but in doing so, I noticed that the bit of tape I stuck to my door as a seal has been ripped off. Someone's in the room. Backing away from the door for a moment, I quietly press my ear against the wall, but can't hear any noises from inside. Doesn't seem like a typhoon is laying waste to the room in my absence, but either way. If it's someone stupid enough to miss the tape, no need to be too careful. Forcefully swing open the door to my room. Oh my gosh, I installed the patch and then immediately am struck with boobs. Don't move. I don't know, why are you changing in my room? Who called me a stripper? It's not my birthday. You got the wrong room.
予想外の反応。前にいた学校じゃ誕生日に友達が寮の部屋にストリッパーを呼ぶようなサプライズがあったわけ？
Yeah, of course, it was standard. Wait, it's just Amane. Why are you in my room?
なぜって言われてもな。この部屋で着替えるのはいつものことだし。
Amane points to a large overnight bag lying on the floor, presumably containing her spare clothes.
この部屋だけ冷蔵庫が大きいのよ。いっぱい買い物した時とか、この部屋の冷蔵庫を使わせてもらってるの。
Ah, okay, so you just come into my room. Why are you naked?
そりゃ着替えてるところにいきなり踏み込まれたからでしょ。学校から帰ってすぐに買い物に行きたい時はここで着替えるのよ。
Can you not use your own room? Yeah, that's what I was
私の部屋
thinking.
2階だし面倒じゃない。
Oh my gosh, you sound like my wife. I don't like to walk up the stairs. Too much effort. I'm like, this is why we Americans are fat and lazy, okay? We can't walk upstairs without getting winded. I say that as somebody who gets winded, possibly going upstairs sometimes. Hey, I think it's the dry weather here, okay? I have an excuse. I have asthma. When I was a grade schooler, I had friends who'd throw their bags by the door after school so they could get back inside faster. Guess her brain works on the same level. Hey, what's wrong with just throwing your bag down? That's a job for later, you know? Once you're out of school, you know, you gotta have some fun.
着替え続けてもいい？
Can you get the hell out of my room?
そんなところに突っ立ってないで入ったら？
I'll come in whether you invite me or not. It's my room. Walk in the room, hold a glass under the faucet in the sink, and fill it up with tap water.
あのさ。
What? Sweep down the tepid water from the
普
glass.
通入るかな。
Oh my gosh, you still haven't put your shirt on. Why? Why go to a black screen and then she still doesn't have her shirt on? But your sentence is missing both a verb and an
いや
object.
だからさ、女の子が着替えてるんだよ。普通遠慮しない？
What an absolute Chad. He does not give a fuck. Not a normal man. You were the one who barged into my room.
それはそうなんだけれども。
You don't want to be seen. How about being frank about it and telling me to get out?
失礼ね。見られて困るような体してないわよ。
Oh my gosh, of course you just have a naked standing sprite. I'm gonna stick a 20 in your panties. Oh gosh.
だからストリッパーじゃないっての。
You say so. You seem pretty used to this.
そりゃこっちのセリフよ。そうやってビール片手にテレビで野球観戦する親父みたいにじっと見られても落ち着かないじゃない。
I don't know. Why are you changing in my room? You don't want to be seen. You should have said so from the start. I'll be outside. Call me when you're done changing. I think this is your fault.
いいわよ。すぐ着替え終わるから。
You could have been done in the amount of time we had this conversation. A troublesome woman. What do you want from me?
そこでおとなしくじっとしてなさい。
What? Nice tits. Damn. Hitting her with that, huh?
感想とかいらないから。
Returning my empty glass to the sink, I turn my back on Amane for the moment. Breaking into my room as she pleases, throwing her tits around as she pleases, then getting pissed off at me as she pleases. I don't have any real obligation to be considerate of someone like that, but well, this kind of thoughtfulness is what keeps society moving smoothly.
ねえ、ユージくん。
What?
君、なんだか妙に女慣れしてるよね。お姉さんとかいるの？
I'd be pretty concerned if he goes around looking at his sister and then saying nice tits. I did have one. Oh no, the tragic backstory.
いたって、今はいないの？
He's dead.
そっか、ごめんね。無神経なこと聞いて。
He dropped that very casually. Been years, not a problem.
じゃあさ、無神経ついでにもう一つ聞いてもいい？
Sure, why not?
お姉さんの名前は？
Kazuki.
カズキ？
I know, kind of a weird name for a girl. It's actually written with the characters from One and Princess.
珍しい名前だね。
Okay, there's a lot of unusual names. Why do you ask?
別に、ただの興味本位。
I named my daughter a name that I've never met anybody named that, so I'm no stranger to unusual names. I see. My sister is a topic I prefer to avoid as much as possible. Notice a lot of these strong protagonists, just like Narita from Hello Lady, he also has a thing going on with his sister. They seem to have sister issues. Not because it's too painful to remember her death or anything sentimental like that. I just don't want to get in the heavy mood for no good reason. Maybe Amane picked up my reaction since she didn't ask anything else about the subject. Though she's a troublesome, selfish woman, I could honestly appreciate that part of her.
お待たせ。着替え終わったよ。
Oh, thank goodness. Wasn't really waiting.
どう？似合う？
I liked it better when they were out. That was him. I was just reading it. I don't know if you guys saw it. I might have skipped over it too quick. That's what he said. It wasn't me. Not that I look. Amane is wearing a pointlessly skimpy outfit. Yeah, it does look like straight from the 90s. Even if it is summer, this is a bit over the top. Too much exposure, your breasts are barely staying in that thing.
はあ、いいのいいの。せっかくいいの持ってんだから、半分ぐらいちらつかせておかないと損じゃん。
Ah, is that how it is? A waste of resources.
この格好で商店街に買い物に行くと、なぜかみんなサービスしてくれるのよね。
Using your privilege. Woman trying to disrupt the economy of the shopping district via her tits.
あーって何よ。
I like how that's what he got out of it. Nothing at all. If you're done, hurry up and go. The dirty old men of the shopping district are clutching their 20s in anticipation.
そうだね。そんじゃあ行こうか。
I wonder how much of the jokes here would have been censored had I not applied the patch. So I'm like, wow, this is a very sudden shift. I just applied it. As she speaks, Amane grabs my arm like a border patrol agent seizing an illegal immigrant from Mexico. That's the thing. They don't do that. We don't enforce our border here. What are you trying to pull? Get off.
ねえ、お買い物に付き合ってよ。
The border here in America is more like a suggestion. It's very debated. Why do I have to come?
今日は10キロのお米を買うから運ぶの手伝って。
Thought she was about to say 10 kilos of coke. I'm like, oh damn, we really are at the border. Even if you don't rope me into this with that huge body, 10 kilos shouldn't be an issue. So I thought, but courteously didn't put into words. We're dealing with a woman here, technically speaking. What do you mean, technically? Hold on. In the first place, she's only large for a woman. I'm 5 or 6 centimeters taller. I'm guessing Amane's gotten sick of me staring at her silently as she jerks me closer by the arm she's grasping.
おっぱい り見せてあげたじゃん。買い物ぐらい付き合ってくれてもバッチ当たんなくない？
You didn't let me see them. You kind of forced me to see them. I don't remember asking to see your breasts. This woman's logic is completely incoherent. Maybe it's just me, but isn't this roughly equivalent to the way Gestapo would arbitrarily execute Jews and then send their family a bill for disposing of the corpse? Holy shit.
なに？なんか不満そう。見るだけじゃ足りないなら、もんどく？軽くつまむ程度に。
I'm starting to think she wants us to touch them. Like, she's not saying this for our benefit. I think a flash of your tits will make any man do your bidding. You've got another thing coming.
まあまあ、どうせ暇なんでしょ？うちの学校、今までは男子っていなかったから、力仕事は全部私に回ってきたのよ。かわいそうだと思わない？
I would tell her to hack off. When you got a physique like that, I think it's probably inevitable.
これからは電球が切れても、ユージ君がいれば安心だね。
That's oddly
そんじゃ
specific.
行こうか。
How many light bulbs have you been sitting on that need to be changed? As she speaks, Amane intertwines herself around my arm, pushing her famous breast onto me. Oh, they're famous now.
わっちはこう見えても休暇を実家に持つ母親の娘ぞ。本来であれば裸を見たあんたには責任取って結婚してもらうところよ。
Oh no, she comes from a family with money. The fact that I just spent a good second thinking about anti-helicopter mines is frankly completely ridiculous. Wait, what? What? Is that because she said a shotgun wedding and you started thinking about anti-helicopter mines? But the world has been seeming like an extremely ridiculous place recently. No point getting too down on myself. This is still relevant. I know this is probably an older game, right? So this is still extremely relevant. It's becoming an extremely ridiculous place, especially in America of all places. Fine, you just need me to carry the rice, right?
そうそう。最初からそうやって素直にうんって言ってりゃ可愛いのにね。
I don't think that's his style. I don't think he knows how to just get straight to the point. He's got to think about anti-helicopter mines. Really important to consider those. I've heard it's better not to be loved by God or big women if you want a long life.
何それ？
Just a joke. Let's get going already. Well, I mean, if you think about Jesus' apostles, they probably didn't live a very long life. They all died in really bad ways too.
ちょっとやだ、待ってよ。
Don't say it like that, please. Look on my arm. I don't need you clinging all over me. It's stifling.
本当は嬉しいくせに。ってあれ？ユージ君、なんかいい匂いする。香水とかつけてる？
Don't press your nose against me and snuffle. You're not a dog. Honestly, carrying some rice really isn't that big of a deal, but if I'd agreed from the start to save myself the effort of resistance, it's easy to see that she'd take that as a license to push increasingly unreasonable requests on me. If you're smart, you start rejecting people's requests to 80% of your real tolerance level. Damn, he's got the math for it, too. Got it all figured out. I can see why you guys enjoy the story here. This is some life lessons. Women's shopping methods can't be broken down into two patterns. Or they can't be broken down. Type A throws anything that catches her eye in the cart, whether or not she has a need for it. Type B deliberates endlessly over cost efficiency when she has a pressing need and ends up buying nothing. Okay, so my wife is type A. I mean, she does consider a little bit, but she definitely can give in pretty quick. I'm type B, though. I do a lot of research before I buy anything. I've started to rub off on her a little bit when it comes to things that actually have value. Like she actually researched her keyboard when I built her a computer. So I was proud of her for that, and then she ended up literally liking the keyboard. So I was like, great. That's why you do the research. My impersonation of the woman named Amane, probably influenced by her large build, was that she was likely the careless sort who'd follow the former pattern, but apparently I'm not much of a judge for these things.
次は八百屋さんに行こうか。
But you're still buying. If you need vegetables, why didn't you get them in the supermarket just now?
スーパーより商店街の八百屋さんの方が安いんだもの。
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, it sounded like she came from a family that was pretty well off. So the fact that she's like considering that is nice. I understand in theory that specialty shops are better than general retailers, but as the one being dragged around changing stores as rapidly is a serious nuisance. Because Amane mentioned she wanted to buy oolong tea, I'd reached out for a 2-liter 158 yen bottle at the supermarket, only to have her slap my hand lightly away. Her words, don't buy that here, get tea packs at the drugstore, you can make 52 liters for 480 yen, or something. But I ended up following her to the drugstore as well.
すみません。玉ねぎと人参くださいな。
I think it's reasonable, like, if you're going to shop at multiple stores, like, to wait and get certain things. But at the same time, like, if you're gonna exert more energy just going to multiple stores, you might as well not, you know? Might as well just buy it all close by. I guess I just have an American view of that, because I would have to drive to go to multiple stores. They probably are walking.
Oh, Amane-chan, いらっしゃい。今日も可愛いね。
でしょ。ねえ、奥さんに内緒でおまけしてよ。
Amane-chan にはかなわねえな。よし、そんじゃおじさん、いちごのパックをおまけしちゃおうかな。
Somehow managed to get the green. His name is just Green Grocer. It's not even manager of Green Grocer. It's not even employee. He's just Green Grocer. He's managed to get this man to throw in free strawberries.
嬉しい。いいの
？Amane-chan だけのサービスなんだから、みんなに言っちゃダメだぜ。
Especially not the wife, am I right?
ありがとう。いちご、マキナが大好きなのよね。
そういや、今日はマキボウは一緒じゃねえんだな。どうしたい？
はあ、今日はお米も買ったからタフな荷物持ちを連れてきたの。
Wow, damn, that's what she calls us?
ああ
Growling, the dirty old green grocer sizes me up with a blatant scowl on his face.
なんであいつは気に入らねえ目つきしてやがるな。
Damn, this guy definitely has the hots for a high schooler.
そう嫌わないでやってよ。私の弟なんだから。
弟？なんで弟かよ。俺はまたてっきりAmane-ちゃんがろくでもねえ男と付き合ってるのかと思ってよ。おじさん早合点しちまったい。
Who the hell are you calling a worthless bum? Not sure what's so funny, but the green grocer cackles heartily as he stares in my face.
はい、ボス。名前は
Yuji.
そうか、ユージか。いい名前じゃねえか。姉ちゃんの手伝いしてやれえな。よし、おめえにもイチゴやるから食え。ビタミンが足んねえからそんな人殺しみてえな面になんだ。栃木のブランドイチゴだぞ。食え食え。
The hell? What do you mean I got a face like a murderer? Are we a murderer? I have a feeling we're a murderer. Thank you. I smile and lower my head in a slight bow, prompting the old man to shout, "What? You can smile after all," in an even louder voice.
じゃあおじさん、ありがとうね。
おう、また来な。サービスすっからよ。ユージもな。
Okay, of course, thank you.
あんた、その顔やめな。
What are you talking about?
そのひどい笑顔。まるで誰かに習ったみたいな顔だね。
You're strangely perceptive at times. I feel like this would be the perfect time to say you didn't see anything.
あんたってさ、たまにそうやって顔で嘘つくよね。そういう家系なの？
Fake smiles are an expression of consideration for others. You want me to scowl instead?
だったらもう少し上手に笑いなさいよ。バレバレよ。
Is this gonna be a story about us being like some military psyop guy, and then we like learn to become human? It ends up making us better at our job. Maybe. Or we hesitate more. We'll find out. I always thought that children's smiles and women's tears are weapons. But this is the first time my own emotional front was penetrated like this. I have been underestimating this woman.
またそうやって怖い顔する。そんな顔するからマキナが怖がるんだよ。
I was born with this face.
へえ。じゃあ、あんたのお姉ちゃんもそんな顔だったわけ？
Don't talk about my sister. In her case, she always had this sleepy expression.
そうなんだ。
Not her fault she's eepy. Why bring up my sister there?
まあ、なんとなく。
More importantly, are we finished with the shopping yet?
あとはお豆腐屋さんで絹ごしと白滝を買うだけ。
Oh my gosh. You need to do this like more spread out so we don't have to do it all at once. Still not done. Just carrying rice, so I'd been promised when I agreed to the shopping expedition, but in the end, I ended up following her around for a good 2 hours.
買い物に付き合ってくれてありがとう。助かったわ。
As she speaks, Amane is packing away the ingredients she purchased, for some reason, into my refrigerator.
普段はマキナと一緒に行くんだけど、あの子と買い物に行くと、スーパーのお菓子売り場とかおもちゃ屋さんに寄り道したがるから時間かかるのよね。
Candy counter or toy stores? Not a problem, but mind if I ask you something? Why are you putting that stuff into the fridge in my room?
だからこの部屋の冷蔵庫が一番大きいんだってば。
That's not an answer to the question.
いいじゃない。どうせろくに使ってないんでしょ。ほら、いちごあげるからさ。
Hey, I'll have you know he gave me my own case of strawberries. That's from the pack that the old man at the greengrocers gave to me.
私がいたからもらえたんじゃない。冷蔵庫の中の牛乳も飲んでいいからさ、ね。
Tempting. Not that I particularly care about her using the fridge, but her barging in here every time she needs to get something would be a pain in the ass.
そうだ。今日のお礼に晩ご飯作ってあげようか。
Woman, you got yourself a deal. Damn it, no. Don't pass.
おかず缶詰なの？なんかわびしい感じ。それにお米って炊飯器もないのにどうやって炊いたの？
I point towards a cylindrical mess kit style rice cooker made of aluminum currently towering over the IH cooking heater in my kitchen.
飯盒で炊いたの？
IH heaters can't quite manage aluminum, so I've been using a gasoline stove I had with me instead.
サバイバルだな。よくそんな道具持ってたね。
It's only normal for a man to have a stove or two. Normal for a man is probably an overstatement, but it's standard equipment for a backpacker at least. Ideally, you want one that uses unleaded gasoline you can get from gas stations.
それじゃあさ、ご飯持って私の部屋来る？おかずが缶詰だけじゃ寂しいでしょ？どうせマキナの分も作るんだし、一緒に食べようよ。
No, I'll pass.
どうして？心配しなくても、こう見えても私、料理は得意なんだよ。
I definitely feel like she's trying to take advantage of us, but at the same time, it is rather nice of her to want to cook together. Makina would be there, wouldn't she?
ああ、そっか。マキナ、まだユウジ君のこと怖がってるか。
Exactly, I think it'd be better if I wasn't there.
この際だから仲良くなってよ。
Not gonna happen that fast. If I go out of my way to eat quietly, she'll end up feeling even more uncomfortable. Pass after all.
まあ、今日は仕方がないとしても、マキナと仲良くなってくれれば、いつだってご飯作ってあげるよ。
You telling me to become friends with her in exchange for food?
そうは言わないけどさ、仲良くしてほしいっていうのは本音。あの子、ああ見えて友達作るの下手だからさ、ユウジ君の方から声をかけてあげてよ。
I don't have anything against her, and I don't want to be on hostile terms, so I'll try to talk to her. I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to improve things between us, as my personality is what it is. In response to my implied statement, Amane answers, "That's good enough," with her smile.
じゃあ、今日はありがとうね。
They sure are making us get used to them. I'm like, I know we kind of came in and transferred, right? And so we're kind of the outsider. We have to kind of build up our reputation. But it's like, oh my gosh, everybody does not like us and is being so aggressive. We have to really go out of our way to please them. As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Amane briskly leaves the room. But, hey, wait, you forgot? The overnight bag packed with Amane's spare clothes is still lying in the center of the room. That woman, she isn't planning to change in my room again, is she? More to the point, I'm sure I locked this door when I left this morning. How did she even get in here? There aren't any signs of damage to the lock, and I can't imagine she's got a secret talent for lock picking. Does she have a spare key or something? Suo Amane, a creature known as Large Woman, are mostly careless, but weirdly attentive to certain details. They possess unusual intuition as well as pointlessly large breasts. And on the whole, deserve to be handled with caution. I appreciate his analysis of women. He's very detailed. No matter what sort of life you're living, you'll run into people who just won't listen to what you have to say. When words don't get through, the easiest alternative is beating them into submission. Ah, okay, gotcha. Don't do that, by the way. Certain a bit of rough solution, but certainly a bit of a rough solution, but when you're dealing with another man, it's at least an option. It's always an option. I don't know if that's the best one. When you're dealing with a woman, let alone a shrimp of a girl who doesn't come to your shoulder, it's a different story. Start swinging your fists around out of irritation. Under those circumstances, anyone would call it bullying the weak. Bad style and would leave an unpleasant aftertaste. What's called for in such situations is perseverance and patience. In this age of rapid scientific progression, I'd like some machine you could stick on your back, then switch to Zen-like and instantly gain infinite self-control. Sadly, despite the market potential for such a device, the world isn't such a convenient place. Well, no big deal. Fortunately enough, I'm pretty used to endurance tests. It's been 5 minutes since I spotted Irisu Makina. Sorry, still getting used to the names. Irisu Makina. Wandering aimlessly around the campus and called out, "What are you up to?" in a casual tone. On the bright side, she reacted to my voice and stopped dead in her tracks instead of fleeing, but beyond that, things haven't gone well. Staring fixedly up at my face, Makina doesn't speak a word. Can you not speak Japanese? Silent as always. Makina shakes her head back and forth in denial, apparently having understood my question. Are you afraid of me, maybe? Her silence continues, and this time there's neither confirmation nor denial. It doesn't seem likely that she'd understand the question, which means this one is in uncertain territory, somewhere between yes and no, as far as I can guess. Repeating myself with this sort of communication takes a lot of patience and persistence. Try to consciously consider things from Makina's point of view. A transfer student with an unclear background, what's more, a man 178 centimeters high. From the perspective of Makina, who had guessed to be around 140 centimeters, it might be a little intimidating to have me towering above her. For the moment I crouched down with my eyes, so that my eyes are level with hers. It seemed like you were wandering around the grounds. Are you looking for something? Makina speaks a single word in a quiet voice and once again shakes her head in denial. Then what are you doing? That's the point of some interest to me, but well, if you get down to it, wherever she is and whatever she's doing is her own business, I suppose. I'm not a policeman. I don't have any reason to drag it out of her. I mean, that other policeman didn't have a reason to drag anything out of us, but there we were. In this case, it might be best to find some words to wrap this up cleanly. Give her a friendly goodbye and let this timid creature be on her way. As I reach this conclusion, Makina slowly moves her hand to the rear of her skirt, grabs something with her stubby fingers and pushes it in front of my eyes. What's this thing? At a glance at it, Makina's small hand is a toy-like object roughly the size of an egg with an LCD screen buried into the center. Is it a Tamagotchi? Why do you have a Tamagotchi? No. On closer examination, there's some unknown life form or monster most closely resembling a chick displayed in blocky pixels in the central LCD. Seems to be programmed with some cheap animations, about 3 patterns or so. Ah! I had to think about it. I remember reading a news article about this a few years ago after developing the smallest 3-axis geomagnetism sensor in the world at the time. A certain company fed that technology into a children's electronic toy, which then became an explosive hit among grade schoolers. It's a pedometer, right? One of those things where the pet grows up faster the more you walk? Nodding her head, Makina returns the pedometer in her hand to her waist. In other words, she wasn't looking for anything in particular. Her wandering itself was the objective. Walking is a good thing since it's aerobic exercise about too much strain in the joints. But if you're going to walk anyways, having some sort of visible result from the effort might make it feel more worthwhile. Makina points to the school gate as she speaks. See, it makes sense she'd want to avoid crowded places, giving her an extreme shyness. That would restrict her strolls to pacing around the school grounds, which would quickly get repetitive. The digital pet serves as a distraction from that boredom, most likely. You like taking walks? I appreciate his way of speaking. So to kind of make my point, like, notice how much he like kind of has this internal dialogue. Like, he says quite a few sentences, right? He analyzes everything that that is Makina, and then when he actually responds, he just says, "You like taking walks." I don't want to like phrase it as he dumbs it down, but he makes it more simple, like, especially because he knows Makina doesn't really say much to him. I just like the way he approaches this versus his internal monologue. Sorta is it. While walking for fun at this age might be a little odd, it seems like the hobby of an old man. Do you have any other interests, like reading, for example, or read any books lately?
本
Manga's fine too, whatever. To tell the truth, I'd already heard from Amane that Makina often read books, and reading is a hobby of mine as well. I think it's a decent common topic for starters. In response to my question, Makina holds her right index finger to her chin and mumbles, gazing up at the sky.
クイズの本
Quiz, huh? Was it interesting?
裸眼で直視すると命に関わる危険なお菓子ってなんだ
Dangerous, sweet, that's life-threatening to observe with the naked eye. Oh my gosh. See, this is what I mean. The amount of dialogue he actually says out loud, at least to her, is really short. And then this is what he's thinking in his head. Death rays and new tech from the West. Again, this is dangerous. I mean, it's probably some variety of optical weapon, something like an X-ray possessing mass, or some sort of beam saber style light-based killing tool. No, but if seeing it is dangerous, some sort of super weapon that radiates a pulse to the receptors of the eyeball, using a flickering pattern to stimulate the brain cells and trigger accelerated apoptosis. Hold it. This thing is sweet, right? It's sweet. What the heck? Where do we go from there? All I'm getting is some sort of chocolate pastry shooting out a mysterious beam of light. Pew, pew, pew. Don't know, I give up. What's the answer?
みたらし団子
Oh, that's great.
見たらし団子見たら死ぬのよ
That's the stupidest thing I've heard all day, and I love it. Me and die. Ah, I get it. I missed that angle. Candy. Haha.
もう行ってもいい
Yeah, sorry to hold you up. I could only imagine Yuji getting like a slight headache right now, just like rubbing his temples, like, oh my gosh, what is this conversation? Without even a buyer, later Makina leaves the area at a trot, as if fleeing from me. Doesn't seem like she outright hates me, though.
逆じゃないかな
How long have you been there?
みたらし団子のあたりかな
What do you mean by the opposite?
あーまあなんつうか単純に人見知りってのもあるけどマキナはユージ君に嫌われないようにしてるんだと思うよ
Trying not to be disliked.
マキナって本当はもっと明るい子なんだけど明るすぎてうざがられることも多いから警戒してるのよ
True enough, I remember seeing her rushing around brandishing a cicada and cackling that first time. That's her normal state, then the way she behaves in front of me would certainly be a product of deliberate self-restraint, but...
警戒しているってことはユージ君に嫌われないように意識してるって証拠じゃない
I think it could be interpreted as simple fear as well.
まあ怯え半分ってのはあると思うけど大丈夫じゃないかな
What makes you say that?
さっきマキナと会話するときユージ君マキナの目線に合わせて腰を低くしたでしょあれって実は有効手段なんだよね
Yeah, he was trying to be considerate of her. Like I said, he was simplifying his language. And then he was, trying to go face to face with her. I feel like that's something you would do with an actual child. I don't think she's supposed to be an actual child, so... Strange, but, it is what it is. When I was a kid, there was a time I'd been surrounded by unfamiliar adults and found myself on the brink of tears. When other adults stooped down to talk to me face to face, I immediately got emotionally attached. As a parent, I have heard that is something that helps with children, like getting down to their level. Like, because if you're towering over them, it's like you're talking down to them, like they are in trouble. But if you get like kind of face to face, it's supposed to work. Though my daughter, like, when she does something that she knows is wrong, she doesn't want to look me in the eye, right? She doesn't want to fess up to it. She knows. Looking back, I feel like shouting, "You sure got attached to an outrageous person," or complaining about what an idiot I was, but...
ほら私も背高い方だし最初はマキナもなかなか懐かなくってさ目線を合わせて話すって裏技に気づくのに1ヶ月もかかったよ
Now she's glued to you or something like that.
あ 確かにべったりだけど、言うほどいつも一緒ってわけじゃないわよ。マキナは基本的に一人で遊ぶ方が好きだし、それにあの子感情のムラが激しいっていうか、あんまり変な意味にとってほしくないんだけど、ずっと一緒にいると疲れるのよね。
Maybe she's playing by herself because she understands that.
うまく説明できないけど、猫みたいなものよ。構ってほしい時だけニャンニャン言ってすり寄ってきて、飽きたらスッといなくなっちゃう感じ。くせっ気でふわふわしてるし、体もぐにゃぐにゃで柔らかいし、体温が高いから抱くと暖かいし、なんか甘ったるい匂いするし、猫っぽいよね。
I feel like a lot of the things she just described, you could just say children are like. They're pretty warm because their heartbeats are higher. A cat, I see.
まあ慣れないうちはそっけないかもしれないけど、絶対に悪い子じゃないから仲良くしてあげてよ。
I don't plan to force her to be friends if she doesn't want to be, but yeah, I'll try to avoid being hated. If I avoid unnecessary contact, I shouldn't inspire any hatred or come to hate anyone myself. In exchange, I won't be liked or come to like anyone either. Maintaining emotional distance along appropriate lines is an essential but extremely difficult aspect of forming efficient interpersonal relationships. Of course, there are always those careless puppy dog types who will leap in your arms wagging their tails right from the start.
何よ、私の顔じっと見て。
I wonder who he was just talking about. Well, just think about how beautiful you are. There we go. Nice.
キスしたくなっちゃった？
Wait, she's into it? What? Alright, Amane, close your eyes.
うん。
Her chest swelling with some ridiculous expectation, Amane closes her eyes and thrusts at her lips as instructed. Oh my gosh. This is the most Chad move I've seen. Moving quickly and silently, I make my getaway, leaving the girl to her foolishness.
どこ行ったのよ。もう意地悪。
Dang, she is down bad for us. I see. Makina may have the right idea. Leaving out later or goodbye entirely and silently running away certainly is less troublesome. Don't take it the wrong way, Amane. It's not that I hate you. I'm just trying to avoid being hated by you. Alright, we're doing a swell job at that. Definitely running away as we were supposed to give her a kiss will give a good impression, I'm sure. Read books in a well-lit area. That was a teaching of my master's. At that time, I was accustomed to reading while shut up in a closet or dark room, so those words felt a bit refreshing. Of course, it's not like I'm worried about obeying the teachings of a woman who's already dead, and I'm still not good with direct sunlight. But here I am searching for a bright place with a book in hand anyways. Aren't I adorable? No reason to wander around looking for a sunny place in this shitty heat. Stepping away from the air-conditioned school building, I unfold the school's admissions guide pamphlet. On the coded 3-fold brochure, there's a bird's-eye view illustration of the campus, with a mark to the south of the schoolhouse annotated planned site of library construction. Planned site meaning there isn't a library yet, I guess. Although there is something library-esque on the second floor of the school building, the collection only holds about 200 books. You can apply to have a book stock there if you're after one in particular, but apparently a bookmobile replaces the existing collection every once in a while. It doesn't seem like it's being used that heavily. In other words, there's no reason to go out of my way to borrow the key to use it. I brought my own books, and there are plenty of well-lit areas besides the library. While casually looking over the pamphlet, I find the words Rose Garden. This is definitely our principal's doing.
乙女たちの通う学園にはやっぱりバラ園が必要よね。毎年新入生が入学する時期には先輩たちが自分で育てたバラを新入生の胸に添えるの。素敵。
Sorry, I'm still I'm still on the hearts transition that they made. They went out of their way to make that, and it's so great. A rose garden, huh? Put a rose, pin it on the new students or whatever. So I could easily imagine a certain woman who doesn't know how to act her age deluding herself. One of you guys commented that you think that the MC has some kind of former past relationship with the principal, and I thought that was the most amazing, like, prediction ever. Oh, I can't wait to see if that's true. That would be so hilarious if he's hooked up with her before. Pretty flowers might calm your mind, but they won't fill your belly. If you got room to grow them, it would be better used for an edible plant. Oh, I thought he was talking about weed at first, and then I realized, oh, he's just talking about any kind of plant that's edible. Telling her that would probably just make things unpleasant. I'll just have to remember to greet Principal Tachibana with a good day, One-sama, next time I see her. A rose garden, eh? I don't have any interest in inedible flowers, but I guess there would be a shade tree or two as well. Imagining myself reading under a tree surrounded by blooming roses brings a smirk to my face. Guided by these silly thoughts, I decide to head over towards the rose garden for the first and only time. Oh, that doesn't sound too great. They call it a rose garden, but not a single one's in bloom. Based on the map, this is definitely the right spot, and there's even a white arch that seems appropriate. From what I can see, there aren't any roses in flower. Maybe the garden's still a work in progress, or perhaps they're cutting the buds during the summertime. It reminds me of my, one of the previous apartments I lived in. They had all these grand plans, like, oh, we're gonna expand the whole apartment, we're gonna build a bunch more, we're gonna build up the kind of the community center, right? And in the year that I lived there, they didn't do shit, okay? They did nothing, and the apartments themselves were really nice, except for if you go outside, there was dog shit everywhere. Like, they were so bad about taking care of that. They were more worried about prioritizing cameras to watch the trash bins to see if you were throwing stuff in that should have been broken down first. That was their concern. And they were charging people who didn't do what they were supposed to do in the trash. But not the dog shit, of course. That was still there. Anyways, not like I came to see Rose in the first place, so whatever. I'm really appreciating the amount of, like, CGs we're getting. What is she laying on? Is that a dog? Or a cat? If that's a cat, that's a really big cat. Or she's just really small, I can't tell. But look, guys, it's the fruit of Grisaia. She just took a bite out of it. Is the fruit of Grisaia gonna be, like, an Adam and Eve reference? Is that where this is gonna end up? Or is it gonna be more like a... I don't even know. I don't really understand the name yet. That was a surprise. Wasn't expecting anyone else to be here. No, more importantly, what the heck is she doing? Approach silently and touch Makina's neck in the area of her cardo. You know, I think it's cardoroid. I'm like, did they spell that right? Or am I just reading it wrong? Got a pulse. Closer inspection, she's breathing quietly, so I guess the wicked stepmother, Amane in this case, didn't feed her a poison apple. We're doing a Sleeping Beauty reference, I guess. Wait, this thing is a cat, I think. Okay, it looked kind of like a cat, but it looked really too big to be a cat. I'm like, it looks more like a sheepdog or something. Large cat starting as a soundly sleeping, walking his pillow, taking it for a stuffed animal at first glance. It looks like a fluffy toy, but when I draw it close, the stubby ears buried in its fur twitch like miniature radar antennas. Next question is, why sleep out here? Soon resolves itself. I see. Definitely nice and cool out here. Oh no, I'm skipping the effects. I'm sorry. I'm just not used to a visual novel that has this many effects. They obviously put some love and care into this. Cats are knowledgeable about cool places, or so they used to say. Well, I just imagine if you were wearing all that fur and it's really freaking hot out, you're gonna find some places to cool down, you know? Like, I understand their coat gets thicker in the winter and they thin it out in the summer, right? But I can only imagine you'd still be pretty warm. Because I'm just bare skin out in the summer and I get warm, so. As for Makina, she's wondering by herself. The grew exhausted and collapsed into sudden sleep on the spot. Watch the partially gnawed apple on Makina's chest rise and fall with her breathing. Fell asleep in the middle of eating, just like a baby. I noticed that Makina's mouth is half open, dripping transparent drool. Not to mention her hair is a scruffy mess, the ribbon on her uniform is crooked, and she's wearing different socks on her left and right legs. What's with this girl? I feel like that's an intentional look. I mean, just look at the uniform again. It's kind of like that, different colors, right? I don't think there's anything weird about that. I look down upon her, Makina suddenly snuffles noisily. What a weirdo. I don't want to hear that from the biggest weirdo so far, okay? I make fun of the girls, but Yuji, on the other hand, is quite the weirdo. He can be a Chad, too. But he definitely thinks things out more than the average person. It's been a while since the last time I laughed at a woman's sleeping face. Even if I'm filled with the desire to keep watching, discomfort at the peaceful atmosphere of this place also wells up within me. Oh no. It spotted us. Gosh, that is a very furry cat. At that moment, I sensed someone watching me. Look up to find Makina's pillow cat has woken up and is staring at me in surprise. Sorry to bother you. Go back to sleep. I leave them, taking care to avoid making noise, and sit down under a tree a little ways away. Wandering around as she pleases, and falling asleep in the nearest coolest place when she gets tired. I see she certainly does remind you of a cat. Envious. That's not sarcasm or anything. I'm genuinely envious of Makina. I'm sure that she brings that little pocket of naturally peaceful space with her wherever she goes. I think that's something worth envying, and it's probably very precious to her as well. Might be why she doesn't want to step outside the sanctuary of his school when she can avoid it. Inside the sanctuary, that would crumble in a moment without the protection of others. I wonder if the day will come when I too can sleep in that utterly defenseless way. Turning towards the sound, I noticed a fat, white cat from before appearing from the direction of the thicket I just left. Rustling its way through the foliage on stubby legs, it stops suddenly when it spots me sitting under the shade of my tree. Glaring at me with sleepy-looking eyes, and lets out a single disgruntled meow. You know damn well that somebody made that noise. That was not a cat. Somebody voice acted that. My bad. Getting suddenly awoke in the middle of a pleasant nap. It's only natural. If I were pulled out of bed on a Sunday morning by some pushy religious solicitators, I'm sure I'd make a similar face. Well, the fat cat doesn't seem to have accepted my apology. He snuffles around and lumbers away from this place. I'm watching the cat's dignified exit. The bushes start to rustle again. Oh my gosh, she's still going. I hear the sound of a dim-witted creature awakening and lazily stretching out its body. When I take a look, Makina's crouched on the ground on all fours, bending her back. It really is a cat in human form. Makina opens her mouth, holds down a yawn, and rubs roughly at the tears spilling out of the corner of her eyes. After a restless look around the area, she draws herself up off the ground. It's not like I'm doing anything I need to be ashamed of, but before I realize it, I've hidden myself from her. After standing stock still for a moment, Makina takes a bite from the apple in her hand and wanders off briskly. Where's she off to now? Doesn't look like she's got any particular destination in mind. Driven by an interest I find difficult to pin down, I decide to quietly follow Makina. No regularity to Makina's actions. Just when I think she's walking straight towards something, she'll come to a sudden stop, look around restlessly, and head off in a different direction. Doesn't seem like she's lost or anything, so I suppose she's just moving wherever her whims take her. Makes it incredibly troublesome for me to tail her. Not that it'd be a serious problem if she noticed me, but if I awkwardly call out to her now, I have the feeling she'll just run off again. Skillfully hide my presence and continue shadowing her movements. Tailing a girl without her knowledge, objectively speaking, I guess this would be stalking. So I'm finally starting to get fed up with following Makina's directionless rambling, which resembles the random staggering of a sleepwalker more than anything else. The rare wandering monster in question comes to a halt. Her resting place is in an area on the outskirts of the school courtyard in front of an artificial cement pond of uncertain purpose. Makina totters her way up to the pond, thrusts her hand in the pocket of her skirt to retrieve some half-eaten white bread, and starts tearing up chunks to throw in the water. Ah, I love koi ponds. Every time Makina's small hands hurl a bit of bread into the pond, a loud splashing sound resonates from the surface of the water. Apparently there are fish being kept in the pond, and she's feeding them. What, are you planning on eating them? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh, fish. Makina looks around the area, rapidly grabs a short tree branch lying nearby, and leans over the depths of the pond and begins poking into the water. Though it's puzzled for a moment, it seems like she's trying to capture a crawfish she spotted in the pond. This looks risky. Given her character, it's obvious she'll be taking a face-first dive into the pond very soon if I just sit here. Approach Makina from behind and call out to her. Hey, watch out, or you'll fall in that pond. I guess I should have called out to her nowhere. Makina's hand slips off the ground in a stereotypical slapstick pratfall. Whoops. My bad. Swiftly reaching out to the floundering Makina, I firmly seized the collar of her school uniform and pull her back to safety. Tingled by the nape of her neck like a kitten, Makina lets out a feline cry. You're light. Are you even 40 kilos? There isn't any difference in weight from the backpack I'm always carrying. Given this weight and size, I could lug her a good 25 kilometers in a single day. Oh, sorry. I wasn't planning to call out to you, but it's better than letting you fall into the pond, isn't it? No need to thank me, I did the natural thing given the circumstances. Look at me shamelessly doing the life-saving hero number, despite being in a large part responsible for the problem in the first place. I might have the makings of an American politician. Yeah. Create a problem and then sell the solution. That's half-baked. Yep, that sounds about right. Makina gives a quick bow of thanks if that another word starts to run away from me yet again. Hey, hold it. Where do you think you're going? Don't give me ooh. Where are you running away? Why are you running away from me? And she asked me point blank. It's not like I have any particular justification for detaining her here. That said, it's kind of unpleasant to be avoided this blatantly. At the very least, if there's a reason she's doing this, I want to know about it. I think I asked this before, but you scared of me. If there's some reason why you're avoiding me, how about telling me? If possible, try to address it. Get in with the silent treatment. Deciding to pursue this conversation more patiently, I squat down to match my line of sight with Makina's. You remember my name? That's right. Yuji's fine. Okay, then call me whatever you want. Oh my gosh, anything but that. Hold on. I have to say being called her big brother is a bit embarrassing on my end, but alright. I turn around in response to the splashing sounds coming from the pond behind me. There are a number of fish gathered at the surface of the water, flapping their mouths in a demand for more food. Seems they've come to expect a handout when people stand near the pond. Makina, you still have breadcrumbs left. Makina thrusts her hand into her skirt pocket and rummages through its contents. How many do you have? Did you just stuff your whole lunch in your pockets? She talks, she pulls things out of her pockets one after the other. The item that emerges are mostly sweets like candy, chocolate, and chewing gum, along with an erratic selection of tools like nail clippers, rubber bands, and glue sticks. Although I've heard that women's purses are connected to the fourth dimension, this girl's pockets seem to be connected to a garbage dump. Makina carelessly rains down the rubbish that emerges on the ground around her. One after the other, what is this? Pick up the plastic container shaped like a large film canister. There's a label pasted on the side filled with numbers and symbols of uncertain meaning. Who's Chiru Chiru? I'm not gonna steal it or anything. Here, take it. Roll the case, I'm not gonna snatch it back instantly. I'm not gonna sneak bites of other people's food at my age. Yeah, that sounds like Amane. Wow, just a lucky guess. Saying the first name that popped into my head. It really was her. Guess she's got a surprisingly gluttonous side. Good as her word, Makina shoves some half-eaten bread under my face. No, I wasn't planning to eat it. Good, don't eat it, Yuji. bread is poison. I just can't eat normal bread because of gluten. I take the bread scraps from Machina, tear off some small pieces, and throw them in the pond. Fish that sort of struggle like a pack of piranha for the food, messily gulping it all down. Nice appetite, huh? I thought these things were carp, but now that I get a closer look, they're actually goldfish.
金魚なのよ。去年神社のお祭りで私が救ったのよさ。
From a goldfish snatching game, huh?
そう。
If these were originally goldfish from a scooping, they're almost certainly the tiny kind that's sold as live food for carnivorous fish in pet shops, but things are huge.
毎日餌をあげてたらどんどん大きくなったのよ。
Fish generally can keep growing as long as they're alive, so the more you feed them, the bigger they'll get, but just what have you been feeding them?
パンとか普通に金魚の餌とか暇な時とか休み時間のたびにあげてたのよ。
Ah, I get it. Fish don't really have a sense of being full, so they don't feel nerve pain either. They'll eat as much as you give them if their stomachs are bulging out.
そうな
Even
の
if they are. The number one cause of death among aquarium fish is indigestion from being overfed. That's what it said in something I read when I was a kid.
なんて本？
I think it was a magazine called Monthly Junior Science. There was an article about raising fish in ozonated water where it was mentioned.
へえ、お魚の本なの？
Not just fish, it had features on things like animals or space as well. My older sister was a seriously dedicated reader. Pick up magazines like that when she was finished, although half of it went over my head. As I'm recalling the contents of the science magazines I read back then, I suddenly remember something. Amane, you had some pickled squid in that pocket, didn't you?
あるけど、金魚にあげるの？
No, just take it out for now. Also, have anything we could use a string?
お裁縫の木綿糸ならあるけど、何するの？
Oh my gosh, of course she does. You'll see. Taking the squid from Maki, I firmly tie one end of the thread around and then knot the other end to a tree branch picked up at random.
釣り竿？
Exactly. So now we toss the squid dangling by the thread into the pond. Down there where I threw the squid, I can see the shape of the crawfish Maki had been poking at earlier. When I jiggle the squid in front of his face, within a matter of seconds the crawfish extends his pincers and firmly seizes the bait. There, hooked him. See that?
すげえ！ザニガニ釣れた！
It's a crawfish, not a clawfish. You got the word wrong. The dangle to capture crustacean in front of her eyes, Machina stares at with an expression of immense curiosity.
ザニガニ真っ赤だね。
Now we just need to capture a few of his friends, and we got a fish boil going. Must be a lot of edible aquatic plants or something in there. Clawfish turn red when they have abundant food.
餌が少ないとどうなるの？
They turn blue.
青くなる？
You take a small newborn crawfish and continuously give it food like potatoes. Radishes or sardines, they don't contain carotene. It'll turn blue in a month or so.
本当に？
Read in a book when I was a kid and ended up trying it out myself. I think it's the same thing with flamingos. Like they're, what is it, a diet of shrimp that they have? That's what gives them that pink color. There's some that ended up with a lot of violet spots or white flecks, but I remember getting a few that turned deep blue as well.
いいなあ。私もやってみたい。
Okay, then try to catch one yourself. Pull the captured crawfish off the squid to return to the pond and then hand the fishing pole to Machina.
私に釣れるかな。やったことないのよさ。
Experiencing new things is always worthwhile, so you might as well start by trying to catch one yourself.
じゃあやってみる。
Don't fall into the pond, alright? Also try to get the smallest one you can.
頑張るのよさ。
Taking the crude pole from me, Machina forcefully hurls the squid into the pond.
ザニガニ釣れるといいな。
Already told you it's crawfish, not clawfish.
仕方がないのよさ。私はバカだから。
Don't worry about it, I'm an idiot. Is that the issue here? I mean, do you remember pronouncing snail as smail back when I was in elementary school for a while, but after my sister pointed it out to me, I stopped making that mistake. Then you have someone to point out that sort of mistake for you. Your mom, for instance.
お母さんは私のこと嫌っているから。
I see. There's no mother in the world who hates her child was my mother's line. But by now, I'm all too well aware that the world isn't that simple. Suppose there really are mothers who hate their children, and for those children, that can't be a topic they want to chat about with some stranger. Awkward attempt at consolation would
お
backfire
兄
here.
ちゃんは優しい人なのね。
Huh? Me? Seems like you haven't quite gotten the hang of being called Oni-chan yet. You serious? How am I nice?
ね、私の家族に無関心でいてくれるところ。
Just wasn't interested enough to
な
risk
んで
it.
嫌われてるのか興味ない？
Stare steadily at Maki's small bag silhouetted against the pond. If you want to talk, I'll listen.
ね、それは私がバカだから。
Gosh, if you had a mother that hated you because you're an idiot, my mother must absolutely despise me. Don't they say that kids are cuter when they're a little dumb?
私のバカを侮っちゃいけないのよ。こう見えても私札付きで筋金入りのバカなのよさ。
Can't say I've heard of anyone with that fierce reputation for being stupid before. Well, don't worry about it. There's nothing but idiots in my vicinity, including me.
ね、私ね、別にお兄ちゃんのことが嫌いで避けてたわけじゃないのよ。逆に嫌われたくなくて、バカな子だなってそう思われないように、なるべく近寄らないようにしてたのよさ。
Like I said, I'm surrounded by idiots. I went around hating people for something like that and ran out of my supply of hate real fast. But there certainly are people who can't hold together their fragile sense of self-worth except by looking down on others. I also think part of the reason you would think that there's idiots all around you is because the idiots are the one you notice. The people that are just kind of keeping to themselves don't really stand out. Even a true few idiots who can take their emotions to the extreme become dictators or cult leaders and launch hunts against their inferiors. Why assume you'll be hated over something like that anyways? That way of thinking seems counterproductive. Debase yourself by saying, I'm just an idiot, and you'll just puff up the many self-styled geniuses of the world.
でもね、私、アマネみたいに綺麗じゃないし、ユミちゃんみたいに頭良くないし、何の才能もないのよさ。
No point in standing around with your mouth open waiting for talent to fall from the sky. You make your own.
どうやって？
No matter what you're doing, the most essential thing is to not give up. Fail as many times as it takes. Keep trying persistently until you can call yourself average.
それでも人並みだよ。
Average is just fine. You can collect a nice group of average level skills that's already above average. Create your own sort of talent. Being a hard worker is a talent in its own right, were my sister's words. From that group of average skills, you can work to improve further on the things you think you're suited for. A person blessed with talent and manner of speaking is just someone who found a path well suited to them early on. A great way of putting it. When you get down to it, people can accomplish nearly anything as long as they don't give up. Obvious, but it's true. On the other hand, guys who give up the first setback will never get anything done. There's no need to rush, you're still a kid, you've got time. Try out anything and everything, struggle around as much as you want. Rest my hand on Makina's head with a gentle thump. Is that just the right height for this sort of thing? That's what school is for, right?
そうなのかな。
At the very least, I think the principal wants the school to be that sort of place. You might as well throw out your chest and do as many stupid things as you want, with pride. Of course, if this girl ends up doing something truly dramatically stupid, the principal will be the one facing the music, so I'm probably overstepping my bounds. Just a little bit here.
じゃあ私バカでもいいの？
Why not? Being dumb is fine. In the first place, guys who go around calling themselves geniuses are either weaklings with fragile egos or jokers who use the line to get a laugh. Even if you were some genius, that just makes it easy to mistake yourself for a perfect human and start slacking off. Errors like that get passed by the tortoises of the world eventually.
そっか。やっぱいい人ね、お兄ちゃん。
Don't get me wrong, I just wanted to try playing the nice guy for a bit. You shouldn't trust me that easily, got it?
あ、知ってるそれ。ツンデレってやつなのよさ。チルチルがいつも練習してるのよ。勘違いしないでよねって。
No, I'm not pretending like her. How to put this, I'm not sure how I feel about being put in the same boat as that girl. Yeah, all my mind is filled with is blonde hair. Makina, I think you've got a bite.
おー、
No need to rush, slowly pull it out of the water.
ザリガニ、あ、違う。ザリガニ釣れてる。釣れたのよさ。
See, people can do anything if they try, so don't give up before you start, okay?
なんか自信ついた感じ。このザリガニを部屋に持って帰って青くなるか実験してみたい。
Okay, then you should go to Amane or Sachi and see if you can find an aquarium to raise it in. Make sure to only feed it stuff without carotene.
アジとかイワシ、大根やジャガイモ。
You remembered. I put my hand on Makina's head and ruffle her hair around roughly.
こう見えても記憶力は結構いいのよ。
Alright, better get that crawfish in water while it's still in good shape. Don't overfeed it, okay?
わかった。ありがとうお兄ちゃん。また遊んでくれる？
Yeah, see you later.
ありがとう。
Makina, still clutching the crawfish, waves her hand cheerfully and takes off at full speed towards the dorm. Thanks. Huh? I don't recall doing anything worthy of much gratitude, but regardless, hearing such a happy thanks feels kind of pleasant. Maybe it's because I was raised in an environment where such words were very rare, but I think being able to thank others so freely is also a sort of talent. Probably seems perfectly commonplace to her, so I'm sure she's not even conscious of that skill. I sort of get the feeling. She may just be overlooking the talent she does have. Ah, I get it. I guess that's what makes her an idiot. They say idiots don't catch colds, but it's probably more accurate to say idiots don't realize when they've caught a cold. The same way, because Makina's an idiot, she's probably oblivious to her own abilities. Honestly, what a weird girl. Then again, weird people are rarely boring. So I think, basking in the peaceful, sluggish atmosphere Makina left in her wake. I really like that whole conversation, though. I liked how they kind of put it underwater, so it kind of, like, changed the whole vibe of it. Because I feel like that would have been a different conversation had they been, you know, focusing kind of on the school grounds itself. I mean, that's cheerful and whatever, but I liked the underwater feel where it kind of, like, separated us from that for a minute and got us to really get into a mood where we were being vulnerable and talking about just kind of our past. Kind of lightly touched on her family hating her and maybe just for being kind of an idiot, I guess. That's at least what she thinks. She thinks she's kind of dumb. But I liked his response as well. I like how he cheered her up and said, hey, you know, just keep trying. You know, the geniuses are the people that found what suits them early on. I really like that line. That stood out to me. I have a terrible memory, unlike Makina. I'm the complete opposite. I'm an idiot and I have a terrible memory, so that makes me come off as even more of an idiot, especially when I'm trying to remember character names in visual novels. It's quite difficult. Anyways, though, I'm gonna end it here. We'll just keep it short. I've been kind of just doing this game in chunks because there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of reading, and a lot to process. So it's been a little bit easier, but I'll probably eventually start making longer episodes. We'll see. But until then, you guys, I'll leave it off here, and I'll see you next time.